Remember that you can support the podcast via Patreon. The link is below. Otherwise, stay tuned for the podcast starting now. So, on the podcast today, I'm joined by Pierre Du Plessis, who's a speaker, preacher, life coach, and CWO of Human Rights, just to name a few things that you do. So, where I first came across you in that was when I subscribed to your daily emails, which is, let me try to pronounce this, is it Gymnasia? But yeah, so it's like a daily email that you send out that offers some thoughts, ideas, inspiration, motivation. And yeah, I recommend other people to go and subscribe to it. And then, yeah, one of the other things I wanted to ask was when it comes to breaking into the bigger corporate industries and bigger brands and that, like, how did that happen for you? Because you've worked with some quite big corporates and that. How did that progression happen? Was it just word of mouth from your success, or was it more of a targeted approach by yourself?
So I think my career as a speaker and a writer sort of came about, not, I don't think, through, not mainly word of mouth, maybe a little bit in the end, but and not necessarily a very specific targeted approach. I think I went for more like sort of a shotgun approach, and just decided people started liking what I was saying and liking my work and my writing and speaking and so forth. And then I decided to become a little bit more intentional about it and tell people that this is what I'm doing and I'm available to speak or to consult or to write. And then I just started simply putting out work, like being consistent and putting out work as much as I can and as often as I can, which sort of ended up or culminated in this daily training naked email. And I think like that sort of sparked off more sort of speaking opportunities and writing opportunities in the book offer and things like that. It's just like showing up and producing work, and not stuff that's like for me to market or like market myself like kind of shamelessly, but really trying to put out stuff that is valuable, that will really help people, stuff that's happening in my life or in my business or career or whatever, and trying to reflect on that and purposely put it out for other people to use and to see and to sort of resonate with. So that's kind of how it unfolded. So I think I learned that lesson from also some of my artist friends, with the way they talk about like their work, and they're always producing work and putting out work. And one of my friends who's a sculptor, he always says like, stop thinking and talking about it and just sit down and make the work. And then if it sucks, then you make another one, and you just keep on making work until something good comes out. So that's kind of the way I think that it happened, and how I got introduced to some of these bigger brands and things, and got picked up by some pretty cool agents that help a lot. So I think it's kind of the trajectory.
Okay. And then with regards to human rights now, which is um, you are the what you CWO of that?
Oh yeah, it's the chief writing officer. Yeah, so it's like me and two other people. That sounds very impressive, but like it's actually like a really small, small little collective.
But yeah, it's got a really great story where for every writable you sell, that you give back five storybooks or books to children and that need them. Um, but I'm just want to look at the product that you've created, uh, the writables and the pocket writables and the scribbles and all that kind of stuff. Um, I've got some of the smaller the pocket writables that I tend to keep on me, um, and I just wanted to know, like, how did you guys settle on that product, because it is really a really good notebook. You can see it's good quality in that, and um, yeah. So I just wanted to know how you settled on that, and did you need to like research into it?
Yeah, so the way that the notebooks are designed is we wanted something that was high quality, that felt like high end, and it was like very kind of tactile. Like you want to put it against your cheek, like it feels really soft and like beautiful, and it sort of feels like it's supposed to feel like milk, almost like this kind of creamy texture. And because we live in such a high tech world, that another friend of mine, his name's Len Sweet, like he always says, like the more high tech we become, the more high touch we need to be. So we wanted to create something that was very sort of tactile, because writing is such a almost becoming like this lost art in a way, because we're typing away and speaking to Siri and Alexa all the time. That we wanted to create something that has like this visceral experience to it. So the notebooks do that. That's partly the way they're designed. So they're beautiful to look at, and they feel really great. And then on the inside, they only have dots. They don't have lines, and they don't have blank pages. So, and they only come out with dots. We don't do any of the other options, even though sometimes people ask for it, but we don't, because the dots are there to kind of encourage whole brain thinking. So you can write on them as though they are lines, and your brain automatically creates lines with the dots when you start writing. And then they're also good for sketching, and then obviously doing like kind of things to scale if you want to do that. But you can sketch and write on the same page, which is kind of the idea that this book kind of encourages like whole brain thinking and creativity and all of that. And then finally, they're square, because the time we designed them square originally because Instagram used to be square at that time,
Mm.
and we wanted them to be sort of Instagrammable, so people would post their doodles and their notes and stuff on. And then the square thing has really become sort of part of the brand, because there are a few notebooks out there that are actually square. So if you see a like a black notebook with a red edge and it's square, then it's one of ours.
And you've also got the app that's come out now, which is also
Yeah,
followed on from that, really.
yeah. The app is it's something that we really wanted. It's like sort of a scratching your own itch kind of thing. It's something that one of my business partners and I, we really wanted something like that, where you can just send a quick email to yourself. So if you have a thought in the middle of the day, or you're walking around or whatever, and you don't happen to not have your notebook with you, or it's like on the run, you can just, it's, you open the app, so it's like you tap once, then type your notes and just flick up or swipe up to send it. So it's like three really short gestures, and then that sends an email to your chosen email address. And then later, when you sit down at your computer or whatever, you'll get the note, and then you can action it or file it away, or do whatever with it. So it's just like a really simple way to keep track of ideas. And we are really sort of obsessed about ideas and creating. Sometimes we call the notebooks like idea traps.
Hmm.
So you have a place to trap your ideas so they don't like fly away.
Hmm.
Especially because we're all sort of in business in these creative fields. It's like you want to you want to keep a record of those ideas. You don't want them to like fly away, or get lost. So that's the app is like one way to for us to kind of keep track of those ideas.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that because yeah, whenever you do have that idea, you might be just walking down the street or something like that. You kind of just want to find something quickly to put it down on because you know 9 out of 10 times, and that 10 minutes later you're gonna forget the idea. So it's best to get it down as quick as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So that's like if you're on the train or wherever, you can't reach for your notebook, or you can just like quickly type a couple of things. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea about the app. So we really like it. I think it's really really cool.
And then maybe just in closing, mental health has come to the fore in recent years and that, and yeah, I can imagine it being quite difficult in high-paced lives and that. But I just want to know, how do you find balance in your life when it comes to the mental, physical, and emotional side of things?
Oh yeah, so I struggle with mental health, or I used to really struggle with it. I was in a very deep depression for about 5 6 years, and went through lots and lots of therapy and lots of medication and all sorts of stuff. So it's mental health is something that I'm really passionate about, and talking about it to people sort of openly to kind of dispel all the myths and everything. And what it comes down for me to mental health is like, it comes down to like taking care of yourself. Like if you have toothache, you go to a dentist. Like if you have a mental challenge, then you need to go and see a therapist or see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever. And it's also like just dealing with the problem, and then designing your life, which comes back to what I said in the beginning, like the training naked stuff, which used to be only about mental health in the beginning, like or mostly. And it's about designing your life in such a way that it doesn't become an issue. So, and it's all the classic things we all know we should do, we don't, like to exercise daily, and or often, and then to eat properly, drink enough water. I always tell people like you're not having a breakdown, you're just thirsty. Just like have a glass of water and then you see you're fine. And so like exercising, eating properly, meditation is like a big part of my practice. So I sit every morning, and which is something that keeps me mentally sane and healthy. And so there's like two parts to it, like preventing it or keeping yourself healthy, and then dealing with it when it happens. And then dealing with it when it happens is its own thing, like doing therapy, possibly medication if you need that, and then making some difficult choices or hard choices in your life at that point to change things around and kind of get back on track. So yeah, something that's really important to me is mental health.
Okay. Yeah, that's I fully agree with that. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again for joining me, and muchly appreciate it.
Cool, man. Yeah, anytime.